whistle blew from behind me, calling the close of practice, but these three knew it wasn't over until I called it. "Legs up high, RJ!" I yelled to the tiring 8-year-old. He attempted it for a few feet before dropping back to low pushes off the ground. Sprints were the last activity of the night. The other player, Micah, had begun slowing too. Only number 1, Kyree, kept his high pace at this late hour. It was indeed time to call it quits. He'd always worked from an endless resource that sprang from the heart, which was why at age 6, he played with the 7- and 8-year-olds on his midget football team. It was also why, when the team was split to work on play strategies, he'd gotten assigned to me. Under the bright night lights of the field on this cool evening at the end of September, this boy was still wired to put in work. I remember that focus and determination. "And stop!" I yelled into the night breeze, my voice traveling across the field. RJ was the first to drop his stride. Micah came after him, trying to slow his tread where his little helmet lit his cleats. It took a few seconds of comprehension, but Kyree broke his run. I eyed him closely, something I did often with this kid. The moment he slowed, I saw the predictable slump in his shoulders. Here he goes. "Last words," I ordered them to me before dismissal. I turned to gauge where the other players and official coaches were, knowing we were out of time. The field had begun to empty and cars started to pull out of the park. It was almost 9 at night. When I turned back to check on the 3 tykes, I caught Kyree ramming into Micah so hard his neck rocked back before his body gave out and face fell to the ground. "Yo!" I shouted before starting my lunges toward them. Micah began to wail, a reminder of why I preferred not to work with small kids. The only reason I did was because most were too young to identify me. It was their parents I had to worry about. I made it close enough to the boys. "RJ!" I called out to the 8-year-old while pointing behind me. "Your grandmom's over there waiting with your cousin. You did better tonight, but your knees stayed too low. Work on it," I advised, dismissing him. Oh, those little kneecaps raised high enough to carry him off the field in record time. I shook my head, turning back to the last 2. Micah was standing up on his own, which was a good sign. I didn't want to touch him and didn't want to have to cause a ruckus back here. Kyree, pouting, had continued to the end of the field where everyone was exiting. "Hold up, little man," I demanded. I observed Micah as he wiped the dirt from his hands and knees. "You good, man?" "He pushed me for no reason. That's not fair." I could hear the rip in his vocals. Little man was trying to stay cool, but he was in pain from the fall.